Billy Porter dropped a new studio album recently called Black Mona Lisa. And in an interview with Vulture, Porter talked about his earlier attempts to make it big in the music industry back in the 90s. Porter said that he quickly grew frustrated with how music executives tried to mold him into something that he really was not. However, the straw that broke the camel's back was when his label took a song he recorded, Love Is On The Way, and gave it to Celine Dion, okay? He then explained that this wasn't about Celine Dion at all. It was about the systems of oppression. Billy had to sacrifice his song for freaking Celine Dion. What are we all talking about? What do you think? What do you think about that?
So I do remember Billy of the 90s, and I do know that there was a big craze about black singers and had to be hyper masculine, and they was the Trey Songz, I'm sorry, not Trey Songz, but the Albie Shores,
the Heavy D's, the big,
the guys, the Boys the Men, the BBD. So I do get the hyper masculinity part, and the song that he's speaking of that Celine did, their versions are very unique in their own way. Mm-hmm. And Celine's version that's on the First Wives Club for that segment, I don't think would have fit the Billy Porter's version.
Okay.
Because it was about women, there was three women experiencing with their friends committing suicide. And so in my research, I get very careful when male identified folks blame women for anything. Mm-hmm. Let's blame the record producers because maybe they realized maybe Celine would have had a better push.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't push him hard enough because his song was amazing, his version. And his version is also on the soundtrack.
Really?
His version is also, and I didn't write, but they highlight her version because it fit within the song. Because at the point, Goldie Hawn, Bette Midler, all of them, they were not talking. And so they were like reflecting on their lives. Mm. And so I think that what I took from this is realizing that he didn't fit the mold of that femme presenting person. And then he's taking on the fact of, I wanted to be gayer than I was. They were making me be, and in the 90s, we all had to, as a black male, you could not show any bit of
flamboyancy,
any sugar in your tank, any of those things. And so I questioned myself. And so the question I had for Billy was, is it because they didn't push it hard enough? Because Billy had a little slight push in the 90s and then it kind of like
died down. Kind of fizzled.
And it fizzled a lot.
And then he went on to Broadway and to do other things.
He did a lot of things at Broadway where his art was more appreciated because he could be all of those things that he really wanted to be.
In Kinky Boots, he like literally played himself.
He played and he fit that mold because there was nobody in that mold. And it's like, in preparing for this, I thought about you again. You kicking my butt like, yo, you got to come to these places. So maybe if he would have maybe taken that chance to step up and say, you know what, I can still sing in this voice and still be same gender loving and be okay. And I know it's fearful, and it took a long time for a lot of us to come into our own,
of course,
without any having to substance to build us to be any better. And so I thought it was interesting. I'm glad he retracted not about Celine, because I really was like, when I dig into this, I was like, if he came at Celine, I would have had to come a little bit harder at him because you can't really blame her for doing a job.
Completely. And at the end of the day, who leads a lot of these record companies? White cis men.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're the ones that are going to decide this. And like you said, he didn't fit the mold. Would it have been better for them to push him more? Of course, but again, it was the freaking 90s. And you think of Celine Dion, that was at her height.
Her height.
You're not going to go up against this white woman that is doing Titanic.
Absolutely.
So I get it. Thank you for letting us know about it, Billy Porter. I say re-release that shit on Spotify.
And absolutely. But see, I will. So look, but if he does, Billy, I need you to go back to that Billy, that baritone voice, not that screamer voice, bro, Billy, that you're giving us now. Love you to death, but we got to go back.
More the
because that deeper, he told a story like that. I listened to both.
He took you on the ride.
He took you on that ride about heartbreak, about love. Yep. And although, again, because I was all in arms about this, but then I was like, hold on, it's on the soundtrack. But it's a great soundtrack to listen to from beginning to end. And you could go on that ride with him. So maybe if they would have found a Melanin movie and maybe put that song on, it might have got a better push. It might have been received a whole lot better. But the record company was like, how do I make the most bang out of this buck? And
it would have been better when How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
It could have been, any of those things. Wait and Exhale, any of those kind of type movies, you know. But we know as folks who've been in the industry that they do remix all the time.
Of course.
Tina Turner's What Love Got to Do With It was a Caucasian group song first before, but she added her swing to it.
Of course, Whitney Houston, the song was Dolly Parton.
Right,
all of those, it happens.
It happens.
It happens.
The record producers push. And I think because Billy was still up and coming, still trying to find his niche, just this Star Search, still trying to find his crowd, still trying to find his way.
It was easier to just say, of course.
And get right to Celine.
Of course. All right, Celine, you got that point. So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the Faye What Show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ+ media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the Faye What Show. Get the week started with me.